Hello, friends. This is Derek with Denver Yoga Underground, and I just completed this month's masterclass series titled The Sacred Heart Space. And it was a reflection on classical teachings around the sanctity of the heart space, and more specifically, what do we mean by that? It's not the Valentine's version that we've come to associate with the heart, but rather the spiritual dimension and significance found not only in yoga but many other traditions. So I like to distill that a little bit and offer us kind of an applied path forward as to how we might relate to these teachings. And it begins with a deep assertion, and this is an assertion that we find throughout various yoga systems. That they kind of come back to this central idea, and that is that our core identity, our essence, our deepest essence, spirit or soul, resides precisely right here within the heart. That spark of the divine lives within here. And it's not as though it's like, I'm tempted to say, my soul, right? As though the ego were, it was property of the ego, right? But rather that the ego is kind of at the periphery of this core identity. And this may sound a little like grand or removed, spiritually removed. And I'd like to break it down into a bit more of a kind of entry level consideration for us here. Baba Haridas, my teacher, asserted that all that's required to practice yoga is the desire to become a better person. In other words, a movement towards the fullest version of ourself. And where does that begin? Not at the esoteric end of the road of this kind of spiritual oasis in the heart, but precisely where we are right now. We don't begin, another quote he had, we don't begin with perfection. So whatever your personality constitution is at this point is a fine place to start and to move towards a desire to become a better person, or the fullest version of yourself. Now, fullest version of yourself is not to be confused with material opulence, right? I hear that version of fullness out there as well, but rather the greatest, again, this may sound really grand, but I've come to know it as more and more true. The greatest achievement we can have on this earth and on this planet is to become the most genuine and embodied and real version of ourselves. Everything else can fall into place around that. Will in a more complete and whole way. Doesn't necessarily mean that all life adversities or challenges will vanish. No, but you're far more resourced and authentic in and empowered in your ability to address the fluctuating nature of life. So it's we understand the center more fully, and in contrast, really in conflict with this idea that you are complete, you are whole. There are entire industries, the shampoo industry, the dog food industry, the automobile industry, any industry is dedicated to subtly giving you the message that you're not whole, that you're not complete, that you need this particular shampoo to make you full and complete. And they go to lustrous ends to demonstrate that point, right? And again, this may sound like a little, like, yeah, of course, but tick, 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 like drops of water slowly filling the bucket. This message that we receive from industry that we're not whole, it wears people down and they get confused. No wonder we're confused. And the assertion in yoga is that indeed we are whole at the deepest level. And the practices are kind of a gradual eroding or shaving away of what's kind of finite or unreal or imaginary or insecure, etc., and to kind of reveal that deeper and abiding and whole essence. The Vedas put it this way. They say that our deepest desire is to know the self, to know this. And we may have various, to know that fullness, to know that inherent bliss or satisfaction. And we're in day-to-day life, we're kind of doing a one-step or seven-step removed version of that same desire. I mean, we all want happiness. We all want fulfillment. We all want contentment. We all want peace. Though our means for going about that peace may actually undermine our ability for peace. Like addiction, for an example, is an attempt at wholeness, but obviously there's quite a number of downsides to that. And as well as other means or ways that we try to navigate relationships, for example, to find our wholeness that may or may not deliver us to that sense of wholeness or completion. I wish you all, my yogi friends, blessings on the path, best of the season, and thank you to my liking, subscribing, commenting friends. Always a joy to hear from you. I wish you the best. Peace.